Drug prices are going to be going down 100%, 400%, 600%, 1,000% in some cases. But for 1/8 of a cent, Bobby, think of that.
While I'm not going to give Donald Trump any credit for that nonsensical blech that came out of his mouth and that made no sense whatsoever, I'm going to give credit to the two gentlemen behind him because they are like, keep your face together. Don't imply that that doesn't make any sense and grandpa's losing it, because you can't lower the prices 400, 1,000, 1,500%. That's not a thing. That's not anything. What are you talking about? And if Joe Biden had said that, Trump himself would be tweeting about auto pen and all that. But for some reason, Donald Trump can demonstrate that he doesn't understand that the prices are not going down. And if they were, that's not how math works. So like we've been asking the question recently, is Donald Trump dying? But in this particular case, it's a subgenre. Is Donald Trump's brain absolutely cooked? Like, is there anything still going on in there? Because that's not the only recent slip up he's had. I've got a couple more pieces of evidence for you to consider. There's this, where Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social. The Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so, which it is, a lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam, do something. President DJT. There's a couple issues with that. First of all, that didn't happen. Second of all, so you're saying there were provocateurs in a crowd that you say didn't do anything wrong. So that doesn't make sense. Also, you were president then. He hadn't been inaugurated, Joe Biden, and he wouldn't be inaugurated for like 2 weeks after that. So it's not the Biden FBI, it was literally your FBI. So that doesn't make any sense. And that's a deeply worrying thing to say. And notice, nobody in MAGA media has anything to say about that tweet. Even the people that are conspiracy theorizing about FBI provocateurs, nothing to say about that. Because they know it's the same thing as the aides to Joe Biden pretending his brain is still working. Everybody just keeps mum because they don't want to be made into an outsider. So they're all pretending that his brain isn't rotting before our very eyes. And anyway, that's not the only issue. He also just today was talking about Qatar and how Qatar in particular has a really big issue because some of these other countries are sort of like out of harm's way. But Qatar, man, they're right in the thick of it. Like you could literally walk across the border from Qatar to Iran. So they have to be super worried about that, except that that's not, what are you talking, they don't share a border. They're 500 miles apart. But again, he doesn't understand math. He doesn't understand the linear flow of time, and he doesn't understand geography either. And yet MAGA has no issue with any of this. JR, nothing to worry about here. What do you think?
I don't really think these are slip ups. I get why people may think that, his advanced age, his rambling, his falling off topic many times. I understand the reasons behind it. But in these particular instances, when he talks about the percentages that he's gonna cut all these prescription drugs and then how much money we're bringing in, $18 trillion and another 80 trillion, he just throws stuff out there. He's finally reached the pinnacle of everything he's always wanted in his life, where there's this many people that no matter what he says, no matter how much BS is behind it, no matter how outrageous the lie is, no one will challenge him because everyone that's challenged him, he's made some kind of way to dismiss them, send them off to the side and get enough of society to say, well, that guy shouldn't have asked what reality was. So he just goes recklessly. He doesn't have to think. He's so lazy, even in his brain, he doesn't have to think. Is what I'm about to say so outlandish that anyone would go, what the hell are you talking about? He's reached the highest levels of his life. He's like, I can just lie, bro. And everyone's gonna go, interesting perspective you've got there, Mr. President. Yep. That's all he cares about. He doesn't have to think anymore. He just puts it out there.
If I was standing, like you're standing behind him and he says 1,500% drop. And like you just have to keep, like that is pathetic. That's not just pathetic for Trump at that point. That is pathetic for you, jokes aside, that you would support a guy like this. But anyway, he is falling apart. Whether it's just the lies are becoming more obvious, his brain is rotting, I don't know. But once again, he's apparently thinking about what might soon be facing him on the other side. Take a look.
You had talked a couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven.
Yeah, first of all, you've never been a little cute, but also, look, he was prompted there, but that's weirdly self-deprecating for Donald. He doesn't do self-deprecating all that often. Like, do you think that that's actually him realizing near the end that, yeah, his life has been in pursuit of just, women, whether they like it or not, money, whether it's his or not, and that, yeah, no, actually, if there is a next phase, which, spoiler alert, there's not. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in any of that. That it's probably not going to be great for him. I don't know. Thankfully, JR, before you chime in, he had his yearly physical, which we all get that 2 or 3 times a year. So he had his yearly physical, and he's in great shape. Evidently. In fact, the report came back and we could jump ahead. It didn't even reference the cankles. It didn't reference the fact that he's got a Dumbledore hand from when he tried to destroy one of Voldemort's phylacteries or whatever. Like, it didn't mention any of that. He's so healthy that even the obvious health problems he has don't count anymore. So what do you think of all this?
Yeah, I just wonder if, as he's contemplating life, if he's thinking about the things that haven't been exposed yet, or if he's wondering maybe they'll come out after I'm gone and I don't have to actually hold any consequences or responsibilities for the things that I've done. I mean, maybe there's some files that haven't been released yet that he's hell bent on making sure aren't released, that he wants to make sure only happens if and when he's not around anymore. But I think maybe he was thinking back on all those things. People, no matter how devastating, demonic they've been their entire lives, I think once you get older and this level of age older, there has to be a thought of, yo, what's next? Especially someone who has all these expectations for being praised and loved despite all the horrific and hateful things he's approached other folks with. It has to come to that point. And I'm not sure if it's based off these health issues or if it's just based off him being him. But he also tried to, fundraise off of this. So whatever concerns he's got about whether or not he's gonna get into heaven, he's still actionably doing things here that make a mockery of that whole thing. And by the way, getting into heaven for this fake ass Christian, along with Moses Mike, has nothing to do with your ass walking around being so kind to people and ending wars. It has to do with you accepting this one true Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, in your life is the one true Savior in your avenue to heaven. And that's who you got. That's that's that simple thing as far as Christianity that you have to, of course, you're supposed to be a good person, but if you accept him, which if he says on my deathbed, Jesus, you're my Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
then
I
you're
kind of
supposed
doubt
to
it.
make it.
Yeah, my final point would be, I wonder if this has occurred to him, that he has always spent so much of his time and attention and thought into controlling the narrative of himself, even before the presidency, but definitely during it, like distracting by generating new news, saying crazy things to distract you from the failures and all that. But when he dies, that's it. He does not get to control the narrative anymore. There will be people who will try to. When he dies, it's gonna be like Charlie Kirk times 10. And anyone who says anything bad about him is gonna be rooted out and fired from their jobs. And that will last for a few weeks or a few months. And then for the rest of time, we will be able to say what he was, and he won't be able to distract from it. And I wonder if he is worried about that, the lack of control over the PR.